Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to the first episode of Milestone Hub's Tiny Sofa Sessions with Sam and Jenny. I'm Sam.
I'm Jenny.
So, today, Jenny, I think we decided that for our first episode, we were going to talk about success.
Yeah, success. Episode 1. Get
Yeah.
ready.
So, what does success mean to you?
Success means to me knowing not only the goal, but the steps to achieve it. And
Mm,
also having a goal that is forever moving.
yeah.
That's what it means to me. What do you think?
Mm. I think that's good. I think for me, the kind of highlight of that is the steps,
Yeah.
because that's the part that I really used to have a hard time with, and that I didn't take into consideration enough, that it is success to achieve the steps in between that and like your big audacious goal that you have at the end, which, like you said, is a moving goal.
Yeah.
But I think, it's not forgetting to celebrate all the small wins and really seeing those as successes, and just being happy with the process.
That's such a big one. I know like a lot of my clients have, like everybody has big goals, I think. And it's like the reason we wanted to talk about this today is because success is everybody has a metric of success. Everybody has something they'd like to achieve, and maybe it feels really
Most
far
people.
away. Maybe it feels really close. Maybe it's still a subconscious and you're not quite sure of what it is yet, but you
Yeah.
feel like a something. And I think for like a lot of people that I work with, those day to day wins go unnoticed,
Mm,
right? And it's like, I think it's okay if your goal is, let's have $1 billion business. Well, what do your day to day habits look like, right?
mm,
What do your day to day, are you going to have $1 billion business next year? Well, if you're not working right now, probably not.
yeah.
But it doesn't mean that can't be a goal you work towards.
Yeah.
But first, you maybe need to learn how to like make your bed every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then not discredit yourself for the achievement of making the bed every day
Yeah.
as well.
Hmm.
I think that's an important side note.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, like I said, that used to be my biggest issue with success, is really finding that in those small steps,
Hmm.
and like the consistency of those, which you then build upon with the next layer of
Yeah.
steps that you do every day, and like the steps that you like kind of like work towards, and all of these little things like being successes, that you can keep those up. And I think once you start to do that, it becomes a lot easier
Hmm.
to achieve more success,
Sure.
because like you're kind of like feeling positive about all of the process in between.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, and something that like people don't think about enough,
Oh my
because
God. Yeah.
like when we look at social media and just like everything in the media now, like we're exposed to people's like curated experiences of their life. Like you
Yeah.
see the highlights, like the best moments of.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes like we kind of forget that, we're not all starting from the same place. We don't all have the same lived experience. We don't have the same kind of opportunities because of where we're at. And that's not to discredit people's experiences.
Yeah.
It's just to say, like, you can't base your idea of success for yourself on other people's journeys, because everyone's journey is different. And I think there's a beautiful thing about that also, because it can also bring you to different results.
Hmm.
And yeah, just like being kind of understanding that like you're really looking at the best of people's lives for the most part, when you look online. So take what you need from that, and like
Hmm.
what can inspire you and what can be positive for you, but also don't let that be kind of like a negative towards you, and it's like, oh well, I haven't succeeded at anything because I'm not like doing exactly like Joe Smith over there, who has perfect body, perfect this, perfect that,
Yeah.
and who's been doing this for like 20 years. So
Yeah. Well, I think it's, I mean, the messy middle, right? And that's nobody really wants to talk about like how many days did you work a full time job and then work until midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. on your business? How many weekends did you work through on your business? How many holidays did you miss because it didn't stick with your meal plan or your fitness goals?
yeah.
And I think a lot of times, like, people want to be disciplined, but they rely on motivation instead.
Mm.
You know me, I'm like the most anti-motivation person on the face of the planet. I hate motivation for anybody
Discipline,
watching.
discipline, discipline.
Discipline
That's what
is
she's
key.
all about.
I say when motivation says no, discipline says yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't used to be a disciplined person. I was always a workhorse. I
Mm.
was always a hard worker, but I was not disciplined in all aspects of my life. I didn't apply my work discipline to the rest of my life. And so for me, it was a lot about starting to study people who are bigger and better than me, understanding how and what they went through to achieve their goals, understanding that building a business like we're doing right now might mean 5 years of zero recognition. It might mean 5 years of putting money in out of our own pockets. It might mean 10 years before someone in our lives celebrates what we've achieved.
Yeah.
But it's aligning with something that feels right in your heart. It's why I went into coaching. It felt right for me to be there, to be present for people, and to take the discipline I have now learned in my life
Mm.
by stepping back every day and doing small things consistently every day, celebrating the consistency of doing those small things every day, and then adding new things. That's how I got to the discipline that I'm at.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot about understanding what you see in the world can be inspiring and should be inspiring for you. Like, we should always celebrate other people's stories, but don't let it be like, don't be motivated by it, because motivation is going to wane when you don't wake up tomorrow with the perfect body and $10 million in the bank and this super internationally successful business, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? As far as our business, like, this time around, I can really appreciate that even having 1,000 views on one of our shorts,
Yeah.
actually two of them now, I think,
Yes.
is success. And that's a step in the right direction.
Hmm.
And I think, it's only going to keep getting better the more that we do this and the more that we connect with you guys out there. So really looking, you know, forward to the next steps. But I'm
Hmm.
also really feeling successful about the work that we're already doing and just like connecting with people that are in the coaching space and really just looking to improve their lives, other people's lives. And I just want to kind of make a difference. And I think that's kind of where this even all stemmed from, is us wanting to help other people.
1 year ago,
Yeah.
almost today.
Yes. Yeah.
Almost.
Crazy that it's already been a year, right?
I know. But I think that's exactly what we're talking about is like, and we'll get to like the failure aspect of it as well, but it's understanding that like who you are in the not nice moments means
Mm,
as much as who you are in the nice moments, right? It's like we all fail, and it's very easy to say fail forward, and it's very easy to say like just get back up and get back on the horse, and that's all nice and pretty. But when you're
yeah.
in the midst of a failure, that doesn't feel nice and pretty, and that is not a nice or motivational thing to always say.
Yeah.
But what it is nice to say is like, you're going to learn something about yourself through this time.
Yeah. Well, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, and that's exactly right. And, it really is. You have to fail forward
Mm-hmm.
because there's really nothing gained by just kind of sulking in that and just feeling defeated.
Yeah.
And that's something that I unfortunately learned from experience. My first
Mm-hmm.
business that I started in my 20s, in hindsight, I could see that I was like completely unqualified to do. And that the dream, while possible, entirely possible, was not realistic to do on the budget that I had to do it. Anyways, long story short, these are all lessons that I learned from that. But before getting to the point where I could just reminisce about the lessons that I learned from that, I spent a couple years completely just sulking in
Sure.
my failure and really not feeling like I could be successful at anything. Honestly, it really just like took me down completely and like broke my kind of like belief in life that I could just really achieve everything that I wanted on the first try. And that's not a bad thing,
That's not a bad
honestly. It's
thing.
not a bad thing.
You came out the other side, right?
Yeah,
The only way out is
yeah,
through, and you
yeah,
went through.
100%. So my only thing that I would say about that for the people out there is just if you do have a failure in your life, just
When?
really,
When you have a failure.
yes, you're right.
When?
Yes. When you have a failure, just really push forward and push through because take what you need from the experience because there is something there to be taken,
Mm-hmm.
but then just let it go and just go on to the next thing and like just do better,
Yeah,
just do
and you
better the
get to
next
have
time.
cooler experiences after, because you forged a piece of yourself, right? Like, the story of the Buddha starts with him being a prince, like in this protected environment where he had never seen like suffering or anything in the world. And he goes out into the world and he experiences suffering, and he's like called to come out and to be a part of that journey. Very overarching view of the story of the Buddha. But I think it's really like understanding that you learn as much about you if you allow it in the experience
Mm,
from the quote unquote negative emotions as you do from the positive emotions.
yeah.
And I always say, like, whether you want to look at us as evolutionary beings or not, in the evolutionary standpoint, we wouldn't have evolved to have the emotions that we have if they didn't serve some type of purpose. They would have
Mm,
evolved out, right? So you see, like, cats can jump and they have sharp claws because they're predators. And for us, we have a full range of emotions. So they all serve us in
yeah.
some capacity. But we just need to learn to experience ourselves in those moments because we all fail. We
Yeah.
all fall down, all of us.
Yeah, and I think you're right about the emotions. The only thing that like is new that the human body like wasn't really kind of adapted to completely yet is all of the things that we have in our lives now.
Yeah.
The technology
The
in
technology,
particular,
yeah.
because we're so much more connected to other people's experiences in
Mhm.
ways that our hunter gatherers were not,
Correct.
right? That were just connected to the things that were immediately happening around them, their circle, the things that they were living.
Mhm.
And like here we are still with all of these emotions, still with all of this kind of uh, human capacity for these like strong feelings, while also being exposed to like the whole world of
And
like,
like dopamine at every corner of everywhere you look.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And yeah, that's another thing actually that I've really been reading about recently is dopamine, and actually how you will achieve more success if you limit your external sources of dopamine,
Of course.
because the value of doing the things that you need to do
Mhm.
will increase if
Yeah.
you're not getting your fixes from other kind of like quicker sources like TikTok, all of these things constantly. Of course, there's a place for that
Yeah.
because I think that there's a lot of value to actually also be gained from it. But it's really just kind of like being healthy about it.
I think for me, it's really become like social media in general and technology in general always need to be tools. And so, like, I'm making a conscious effort not to rely on AI to do writing for me or to think for me in any capacity. I use it as a tool if necessary, if I need to like come up with like a structure for something, but
Yeah.
external of that, I do it for myself. And the same with social media. I use it as a place to educate and connect, not to
Hmm.
consume.
Yeah.
And so I don't turn to these platforms in order to like massively consume content.
Hmm.
I will go to engage with people who I look to as whatever motivators in my life, I guess, if
Yeah.
you could say that. I will go see kind of what are they outputting, what can I learn from that. But for me, it's just to educate or be educated
Yeah.
and to create. I do not engage with those platforms in order to consume. And you
Yeah.
know me as a person, I'm 100% wellness oriented. And
Yeah.
so for me, it's like the other day I made a comment on a social media post about how my phone doesn't sleep in my bedroom
Yes.
and I don't use it for the first hour and the last hour of the day. And
Quite controversial,
people went
apparently.
crazy. They were so upset with me. People were attacking me. Like I eventually just had to like block the post because it got so, and I think that's the thing is like we were talking about earlier, people are crabs in a bucket, right? They want to see you succeed, but not more than them.
Hmm.
And when they see something that you're doing that is reflective to them, that they maybe just subconsciously know they shouldn't be doing,
Yeah,
they get very upset about it. And
it's true.
um, yeah, that was a very crazy experience. People got very upset about it. And, you know, for me, wellness is key. So I don't
Hmm.
engage with my phone for the first and last hour of the day. It does sleep in another room. I do have emergency call on for anybody who thinks I don't care about my family. I do. But you know what? I think there's things we need to do in order to reconnect with ourselves and to find alignment. And
Mm,
I think a lot of people struggle with how to achieve their goals because they're just constantly bombarded from blue screens and from food that's marketed. And obviously, you know my feelings on nutrition, but you know, everything is just marketed at us all the time, and it becomes very stressing. And people really struggle to achieve success
yeah,
because they're just being constantly torn down
yeah,
with like the first thing they do is open their phone and stick it in their face instead of going outside and experiencing the sunlight. And
Yeah.
like vitamin D is integral to your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
That's like your brain needs that receptors in your brain in order to produce melatonin at night so that you sleep.
Yeah.
And we're all just dysregulated. And I think, like I said in the beginning, I think people have these aspirations of success, but the day to days on how to achieve it become dismantled by these 9 to 5 jobs that they hate, driving in traffic that they hate, consuming constant social media all the time,
Yeah.
consuming terrible food and alcohol and drugs and cigarettes. And it's just this like consume, consume, consume environment. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm 65, I've worked at this desk, I hate my life.
Yeah.
And people go AWOL.
Well, you know what? That's actually really true because for me, the biggest change that I've seen has been in cutting things out.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? Until you said that, I never even saw it like that. But like for me, it's all been about reduction. Like since my 20s, like 20s, I was like packing things on, like more friends, more activities, more consumption, lots of consumption, food, alcohol, drugs, everything. And
Leading to your
so
coaching now.
leading to my coaching now in the recovery space as someone who's now 2.5 years sober.
Hmm.
And it really has been reductive for me going into my 30s because I stopped consuming.
Hmm.
I'm, actively making better choices for food. So really
Yeah.
consuming less junk. I'm consuming less media because I don't get me wrong, I absolutely love social and I love YouTube and I love media,
Sure.
but you're right. You do have to use it as a tool.
Hmm.
And I do like use it as a tool also to connect with friends, but not in an overly,
No.
toxic way. And even education, though, if you actually just learn too much but don't use it,
Well,
that
yeah,
actually is
you can
also
overeducate for sure.
that actually is also
Yeah.
wasting you know like a wasteful use of time. So by really reducing in all aspects of my life and giving more time for the things that actually matter, and like for us, like every Sunday now is like our day
Hmm.
to meet and talk about Milestone Hub, do something for Milestone Hub. And I absolutely love that. And like that's technically like a work engagement, but like because I've reduced like all of these other things before, on a Sunday, there's no way you would have caught me doing a podcast because I would be in bed hungover.
Yeah, same.
Would absolutely not be in any shape to actually even consider setting up a light, getting dressed, and like being here on the couch with you.
And
So
talking. Yeah.
yeah, be like, oh, my
In fact, I
life.
don't know. I think it's true. And for anybody out there who's considering becoming a coach or anybody who's looking at getting a coach, and I think coaches should be coached. So let's just overuse the word coach right now, but like in all capacities, this conversation is always meant for anyone out there who's looking for advice, whether you're giving it to others or looking to receive it yourself. I think really knowing yourself and putting yourself in a position to be able to succeed is really key, right?
Hmm.
So, one thing I say a lot is action kills anxiety. And I think a
It's
lot
true.
when we overeducate, because tell me anybody here hasn't read 6,000 self help books or watched 8 million life hack, videos on YouTube or wherever. Um, you can overeducate, but if you aren't applying, you're just jamming knowledge, and the brain can only capacitate so much knowledge, and then it kind of is just
Yeah,
there as you're not doing anything with it.
that's it.
And I think most people actually already have the skills to succeed. They just don't understand. They're very paralyzed by the thought of action, right? They get very paralyzed
100%.
by it. And that's where having a coach comes in. Is you don't have to meet with somebody who's like Tony Robbins, and like we love you, Tony, but like
Yes.
you don't have to meet with somebody who's at that level. You can just find somebody like us in your life who's a regular person who has gone through it and then pursued the education and this the lifestyle of being able to help you gain the tools to apply to either becoming a coach or just to be able to achieve your own successes in life. And I think it's really important to find somebody who has been in bed Sunday hungover and now is not in that position, right?
Yeah,
What tools did you learn by failing and getting back up and failing and getting back up to be able to get you to where you are now?
that's it.
Those are life applicable tools as a coach that you can help somebody. It's not something you read in a book. You took action,
Yeah,
you learned it from life experience, and
yeah,
then you can help others learn to take action as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it actually makes it a lot more accessible
Mm-hmm.
when you're actually closer to someone
Yeah,
in terms of like where they're coming from. And you know, so obviously the goal really is to get to Tony Robbins
of
level.
course.
Tony, if you're watching this, let's
Tony, for watching
let's
this,
connect.
repost, let's connect.
Yeah,
But I think that's why, like, this is why we've started this conversation that we're going to be having, as well as bringing the interviews to you guys with people who are big in their coaching spaces as well, is not only to be able to get tips and tricks on, you know, starting out as a coach or maybe navigating into a different space or just learning about a space you may not know about. Because I do nutrition and life coaching, and Sam works in addictions and recovery. We bring two separate things to the table, but really what we want to bring to the table for you, our listeners and our viewers, and hopefully our subscribers
yeah. Subscribe down below.
is the knowledge of what the middle of things looks like, right?
Yeah,
We're building this with you. We're building this alongside you. We are not a massively successful business right now. This is a love project.
yes,
It is our baby. We are very aligned with it. But for us, it's really for you to see that we're growing alongside you, that Sam and I are figuring this out, and this is what figuring it out looks like.
yeah,
And it's knowing that we're the two faces behind this company. No matter where it goes, we always want people to feel like they know us, because you are part of our journey and we're
yeah,
obviously part of each other's journey. But that alignment there, and knowing that like our business has pivoted a million times, and
yes,
that's okay.
absolutely.
Because we've both failed in our lives, we've learned how to navigate the need for pivoting,
Yeah, to be adaptable
to
and
be
just yeah,
adaptable,
100%.
and like not have any type of bad feelings about that.
No,
Just
no, I love it. I love the journey that we've been on actually, and our own coach, our business coach, has actually been really
mhm.
helpful in continuing to move forward. Once we did face obstacles and just kind of like challenges and really figuring things out.
Yeah,
And I think we're at a great place right now. I feel like we're very successful just with having the 1,000 views on our shorts right now,
yeah,
and I'm loving that. And now it's going to be 2,000, 10,000, a million.
yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really curious to know, actually, for you guys, what are some of the things that you're finding like challenging about becoming successful? So if you want to comment down below, we'd love to hear about that for
Yeah.
future episodes.
Or if you have ideas for other episodes, if there's something that you're facing that you're curious about, whether Sam and I have maybe faced it as a business or as individuals, let us know that as well, because this is what we do. Sam and I jump on, we have conversations with each other, and maybe someday those will be live conversations you guys can partake in as
Yes.
well. But it's nice to know what other people are going through, because I think there's some unity in knowing someone else has gone through it as well.
Hmm.
But also Sam and I would love to discuss. So if you've got an idea of something that you're struggling with, whether it's how to become a coach, or if you're looking for a coach but you're not really sure what kind of coaching you need or something like that, like drop it in the comments below,
Hmm.
so that we can follow up. We'd
Yeah.
love to connect with you as well if
Yeah.
you need help. Sam and I are here.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of covered it for success.
Yeah,
I feel
totally.
I feel successful.
I feel successful. Episode 1, we feel successful
This
today.
was a success.
We have succeeded in the
Yes.
first tiny sofa sessions
Yeah.
episode here with
With
you
Sam
guys
and
today
Jenny.
with Sam and Jenny on Milestone Hub.
So, guys, please subscribe. Please like, comment, do everything. If you're watching or listening from a podcast, find us on YouTube. We're also on Instagram, and find my personal account at The Plan with Sam.
Or mine's Lady of the Steak.
Yes. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.